A brave heart. It takes a brave heart and incredible courage to shatter the illusions that we have of ourselves and fearlessly share the vulnerabilities that are just out of view. And that is what it means to step fully into our lives and lead others with integrity. We don't make it the responsibility of others to assume they know where we are coming from. We reveal it to them openly, candidly, confidently, and humbly. Our ego takes a back seat to our desire to be real with ourselves and others, even if shame momentarily arises, stings, and lingers as an outcome of being blind to the impact of our behaviors that results in unnecessary suffering that we have created. On a beautiful sunny day in March, we sat together on one of my final days of work in Miami, Florida. The incredible view across the Biscayne Bay as we looked toward the Keys was simply breathtaking. A dear friend and work associate and I sat quietly for some time, as had become our ritual over the past 3 years, before sharing our thoughts, feelings, joys, frustrations, and disappointments. We found that peace arose from simply resting together in the middle of our very busy days was a wonderful respite. The silence was broken when my friend shifted her position on the bench toward me. She paused, took a cleansing breath, and as she removed her sunglasses, said, "We are all going to miss you, you know." I recall a warmth coming over me as a smile formed on my face. It was heartwarming to hear that I would be missed, and in my mind, I immediately translated this to mean I had made important contributions as a member of the team, something very important to me. The silence broken, we talked and laughed for a bit longer, desperately wanting the sadness to evaporate like the rain so often did after a sun shower. Tears began to well up in our eyes. Although I wasn't self-aware enough to notice that the sensations I was experiencing were different from others I had experienced before, I did sense that what was on the verge of happening would be profound. I just didn't realize how profound. Facing me with her head resting on her hands, supported by the back of the bench, she shared an insight that I already knew about myself. "You are one of the best listeners I've ever met. It's a gift." And then without warning she illuminated a space between what I knew and what was the cause of her sadness. Her next statement shattered me. I felt such deep shame that I couldn't speak for what seemed like years. She said without hesitation, "Yet I don't know you. I don't really know anything about you." I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. I bowed my head, retreating inward to find protection. My armored heart had been cracked open, but at the time, I still didn't want to face this truth. This story lives in my bones. In a flash, everything I had believed about myself went up in a fiery ball of flames, more luminous than the sun. I had to come to terms with the real truth. I wasn't living in integrity. If I was consciously, or even unconsciously, choosing to withhold for the sake of protecting myself in some way, I was completely zipped up. This truth further complicated my claim of being a high-integrity leader. Exactly how could I lead with integrity if I didn't examine this misalignment that my friend had exposed? Sure, I can point back to many hand-me-down stories that helped to shape my thinking about what to share, when to share, and how to share, but it is all rather pointless. Because once I was shown this truth that had been living in the space between, I couldn't simply look away without changing my underlying values and beliefs about who I really was. Unbeknownst to her, she had handed me my permission slip. I took it from her gently, not knowing exactly what it meant, only sensing it was the time to put down the shield and expose my brave heart. I wish I could tell you that this was a one-and-done experience, that once you've been handed and accept your permission slip to unzip, that you are never faced with needing to be brave again in the same way, but that wouldn't be the truth. We are constantly being tested to varying degrees in our lives as leaders. The question is, will we choose to publicly opt in and unzip further as we fearless face our fears of further exposing ourselves to the heat or chill that fills the room, or will we choose to privately opt out where we will remain in the stands, but longingly yearn to be in the arena where the action is?